originally, but they told me that the judge don't make the rules.
Who told you that? Oh, hold on. Mr. Flanagan, call Mr. Farmer right now. Call him right now with the probation, because if I ever hear somebody say that again, I'm going to hold them in contempt.
The judge completely lost it after realizing the officers had been speaking so poorly about her behind her back. Watch till the end as that very officer gets called into court and humbled.
November 2024, in an online conference, Mr. Jaden Lee's probation was being discussed when he revealed something shocking that his probation officer had said, and in reality, his entire probation had not been going correctly.
Today is a day set for review, and according to Miss, I don't never know her name because she don't put her name on here. According to probation, your discharge date is May the 2nd. You were placed on a 12-month probationary period, and I placed you on probation on, May 2nd of this year, 24. So this is your first review. This is the halfway point. However, you're not quite finished. So this says that you did pay the restitution in full.
The situation would start calm, but an insane statement made later would trigger the judge.
It says the restitution of $30,000 was paid in full. You completed the theft awareness class. You have done some you did choices.
Yes, ma'am.
Through eBay, and then you've completed 8 of the 10 gamblers counseling. Well, let's see.
Nope.
That she's saying 2 different things. How many gamblers counseling is left?
I finished all 10.
Oh, you did?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When did you finish? Because she just sent me this.
This man was taking his probation seriously, but you'll find out that his probation officer was the problem in this situation.
This would have been last week on, I believe Friday was the last day. I remember she said she was leaving the office Thursday. So Mr. Mooney was trying to get in contact with her, I believe, to email her to let her know that I was completed. But he assured her that I will be finished before this court date.
Okay, let me see. What about count 2? You owe $510 on count 2.
That's the only thing that I haven't completed, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Well, then don't worry about calling her, Mr. Flanagan. So let's do this. How long do you think it'll take for you to complete or pay the $510?
I started a new job within 2 days. So my first paycheck within basically 2 weeks, I'll be able to pay it. You
gonna give us all your money? I don't know how much the check is. Don't give me the saying it's all your money. I mean,
it's literally been all my money. So.
Right. But I can give you a couple of months if you want a couple of extra months. I can give you a couple of months.
The judge was kind and cooperative, but when she found out what the probation officer had said, she would lose her cool, and for good reason.
I mean, yeah, that will work better, absolutely. Whichever one works.
All right. I mean, 'cause today is just the halfway point, so you're not technically scheduled to be discharged from probation. The 12 months, you're not scheduled until May 2nd. I could give you a date in late January if that'll be better for you.
Yes, ma'am. That'll work.
Mr. Miles, is that acceptable?
It is acceptable, Your Honor. It's possible I might be out of the country, but I'd be able to get another attorney to stand in for review.
All right. And also, if he completes it, so let me give a date. I'll give a date first. And then if he completes it and pays the money, you could send an email to Mr. Flanagan, and I can discharge him without you coming.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right, so I'll put it on the docket for January the Let's put it on the docket for February 3rd, that first Monday in February. I'll put it on the docket for February 3rd. And then that way we could confirm with Ms. Collins that you've completed those classes or the counseling, and then you can pay the $510. If you've done so, counsel, you can just submit an email and I can confirm it with the probation, and then I can discharge them without appearance. So we'll put it on the docket for a discharge.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're welcome. So February 3rd, Mr. Flanagan, let's put it on the docket for, well, no, not 9:45, because that will denote money. That'll denote money only. Just put it on for the regular time, 10 o'clock, and then we'll see where we are.
Now pay attention, because this is when things start to get heated.
Excuse me, Brian. Miss Bryant. So up until this point, I'm still expected to check in regularly and do the normal probation process until January.
What do you mean by that? Tell me what do you do? What's the normal probation process?
Well, because originally they were telling me that once I came into this review, I could have the potential to be discharged from the probation since I had did all the classes and everything like that.
So here,
right now,
I'm gonna interrupt you, Mr. Lee. You're on a non-reporting probation anyway. So if they've had you reporting monthly, you didn't have to do that.
I said that originally, but they told me that the judge don't make the rules here. That was
The judge doesn't make the rules is a wild statement.
the quote that they.
Who told you that? Oh, hold on. Mr. Flanagan, call Mr. Farmer right now. Call him right now. Woo.
Yes.
It's going to be a great day. Call him right now. I need you to tell us who told you that. Call him right now. Matter of fact, you can call Mr. Wade too. Call them right now. Because I'm about to. Yes. I like you, Mr. Lee. I like you. You didn't even mean to tell on them, but you did.
Yeah, I didn't. It's Miss Bryson. She's no longer there anymore. That was the former probation officer that I had.
Let me make sure they have a meeting with probation while you on here. Let's make sure they have a meeting with the probation, because if I ever hear somebody say that again, I'm gonna hold them in contempt.
Too bad she wasn't there anymore, because she would definitely get fired if she was. Part of me wishes she were, because she deserves to be held accountable for that statement.
Understood.
Yeah, but we gonna do this right now. Oh, I'm so excited. This turned out to be a great Tuesday. But you did not have to report, Mr. Lee. You were not supposed to be reporting on a monthly basis, and we getting ready to nip that in the bud right now. I'm so excited for my future and yours. So to answer your question, you do not have to report. Now, what you have to do is let us know when you finish those classes, the counseling. So you can in fact have them send it to Mr. Flanagan. But I want you to stay on here so Mr. Farmer can hear it from you. I'm gonna tell him what you said, and then I'm gonna ask you, did you say that in front of the supervisor, so we can make sure that no other probation officer ever tells anybody else that I don't make the rules. I am the rule. I mean, I don't even understand what.
I thought so. I thought so too.
You should have told them that, and then you should have just not shown up. Nothing would have happened to you. Nothing.
I just was nervous. I didn't want to get violated. I was just trying to follow the rules.
You said Mr. Farmer is logging in right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
He's not logging in. He must not have been at his computer.
What she said was nothing short of insane.
And it is correct that Miss Bryson is no longer with. That could be part of the reason she's not here, because she thought the judge didn't make the rules. I don't know why she's not here anymore.
Yeah.
So, Your Honor, my understanding is that the requirements of Mr. Lee are that he complete the payment of $510 and provide proof that he's completed the Gamblers Counseling classes.
Right, and then I'm going to discharge him without him ever having to go see probation again. See, y'all know what? Because I do make the rules, Mr. Lee.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm just going to have to let him see the tape, because I'm not going to hold you here. He didn't log right in, and so I'm not going to hold you. But you don't have to report to them. So I did notice on the Register of Action there was a report day. Oh, maybe you just had a report day.
Yeah, I had one the other day. It's been monthly, and then I'll go do the drug screen as well.
What
every
drug
month.
screen?
They've been having me do a drug screen. I was like, I don't even smoke, or my case had nothing to do with anything, drug related. But I've been doing a drug screen every month.
Mr. Lee, let me apologize on behalf of the court. And I'm thankful that Miss Bryson no longer works here, because she might have got fired today.
Understood.
So you do not have to drug test.
This judge is an amazing example of how people with authority should be. Miss Bryson ought to learn a thing or two from her.
My order specifically says no urinalysis was ordered. And so what I'm going to do is refund you any money that you have paid for your drug screens. So where were you testing?
It was a Rochester Hills location. I forget the name of it, but it was like a few minutes from my house. I went there, I believe twice when I couldn't make it all the way to Detroit within a day, so I would go there. So I only did that like twice. It was like $40 total there, and then the other time they would make me come out to the court to do it.
You said the other times, so you have tested every month since I put you on probation?
Yes, ma'am, every month.
That's a mess. Okay. Oh, that's a mess. Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going to deduct. Come on screen, Mr. Farmer. Good morning. Mr. Farmer, who is just, he is.
Good morning, Your Honor.
He is justice. Every time he come on here, I feel like justice is behind him. Mr. Farmer, this is Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, say hi to Mr. Farmer.
How you doing, Mr. Farmer?
Officer Farmer had a history of misconduct, and today he was about to face some instant karma for his actions.
How you doing?
Mr. Farmer, Mr. Lee used to be supervised by someone who no longer works here. So that's good, because they might have got fired today if they still worked here. Miss Bryson. Miss Bryson told Mr. Lee, who she made report to probation every month, that I don't make the rules. He told her it's a non-reporting probation. Miss Bryson told him the judge don't make the rules, we make the rules. Not only did she have him reporting to probation, she has had this man drug screening every month when my order specifically says no urinalysis ordered. What I called you on here for is because she no longer works here. In your next meeting, just make sure nobody ever tells one of my probationers that, because that might get them held in contempt of court, because that doesn't even make sense. And I understand. You know that don't make sense. You would. Okay. So what I am going to do, Mr. Lee said he tested at the court 4 times, and you tested in Bloomfield 2 times?
Yeah, Rochester Hills, yeah.
Oh, Rochester Hills. So, Mr. Flanagan, what I am going to do is deduct. I'm just going to give him $150 credit.
That is brilliant professionalism displayed by the judge. Mr. Lee deserved compensation. We need more judges like her.
For his inconvenience and his time. And then that will leave him a balance instead of the 510. Y'all know I gotta subtract the old-fashioned way. So hold on. I'm gonna cross off the 5. I'm gonna make it a 4. I'm gonna put my little 1 over there. They don't teach the kids how to do that anymore. 11 minus 5.
I doubt Mr. Farmer was actually listening to something, because his internet was quite terrible, as you'd see next. Hopefully, he heard something useful, so a situation like this doesn't happen again.
I've never had a probation officer say that before, so I think you got a good team, but that made me nervous. I think Mr. Farmer froze. He did. All right. Well, he used to be a probation officer. Now he's the supervisor. So that was some bad advice. That was some bad instructions. And like I said, she doesn't work here anymore. And if she did today, she was probably going to either be fired or held in contempt of court. So I'm glad we didn't have to cross that bridge. Thank you, Mr. Farmer, and
No
for
problem,
coming
ma'am.
on. Thank you so much. Mr. Lee, thank you for sharing that information. And I, again, apologize for the inconvenience. You did not have to do those things, so I appreciate it. And then I'll either see you on the 3rd, or we'll do your discharge when I get the information, okay?
Okay,
Your Honor.
thank you.
One
Yes.
question, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I'm just looking at my notes, and I have that the order was for a delayed sentence.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
he'll get the delayed sentence.
Okay, great.
Yes, so if he finishes, he's going to finish well within the 12 months, and I'll give him the delayed sentence. So it will be a dismissal and a removal of the conviction from your record once you pay the balance and give us the proof that you completed that counseling.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
we'll do.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome, gentlemen. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Miss Bryson had left the job, so nothing could be done about her. But Mr. Farmer should hold himself accountable for what had happened, because Miss Bryson had done this under his nose. And if he had any self-respect, he would make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Up next, we have a corrupt judge who was stating nonsense without anything actually backing up what he said. He was quickly humbled.
Whether or not an individual meets the definition of disability should not demand extensive analysis.
In December 2024, in an online meeting, a judge, Jeffrey Moreland in Currituck County, North Carolina, claimed that the Americans with Disabilities Act entitled him to require proof of disabilities and/or medical support for accommodation requests. When he was challenged to show what authority he was alleging, he choked on the bench.
I think that we need for a medical documentation is a letter that tells us what's the nature of the impairment, that identifies the major bodily functions or life activity that's limited as a result of the impairment. How does that impairment affect each major life activity specified above? And to what extent does the illness or condition limit that major life activity? What mitigation measures does the medical professional recommend? And how long does the medical professional anticipate these modifications to be required? And so this appears to be insufficient. Do you want to tell me anything about that?
Here he was reading from a form and not from the ADA, because the ADA doesn't require you to submit medical documentation for accommodation.
28 CFR 35.101, Title II of the ADA says that whether or not an individual meets the definition of disability should not demand extensive analysis. And there is no requirement in Title II for medical documentation to support a request for accommodations. And under 28 CFR 35.164, the court actually has a duty when they receive a request for accommodations to respond in a certain way, to examine all the resources they have available, and if they're going to deny, to either claim fundamental alteration or undue burden. That has not been done in this case at all, and they're also to respond in writing. That hasn't been done either. But as far as the medical documentation, there's no authorization in the ADA for Title II covered entity to require documentation. There's an 11th Circuit case called Sugg versus City of Sunrise that came out 2022, and it's a Title I ADA case, which is employer-employee, and the appeals court said Sugg, which was the employee, was entitled to have his testimony heard as a triable fact for whether or not he was disabled. And the employer was saying, well, his testimony was self-serving and we can ask for doctor's documentation. But the appeals court in that case said, you're supposed to give him weight when he says, I have a disability. So when you say it's insufficient, I don't know of any case law or ADA final rule implementation that supports having a requirement that a medical professional document that a disability exists. And Dr. did say that the accommodations that were requested were reasonable. So
I understand, and I think we just have a disagreement on what it is I'm allowed to request, and we have disagreements all the time in court, and if we disagree, you can file whatever you need to file for that.
The man was owning the judge. I find it unbelievable that a judge whose sole purpose is to make decisions based on the law was being educated by a citizen.
But to me, it appears that Mr. and I hope I don't pronounce this wrong. Is it Dr. D.L.?
Dr.
it appears he's just rubber stamped your motion, essentially. And so I am going to find that it's insufficient, and I will give you a chance to present more sufficient medical documentation if you wish. But without that, I am not inclined to modify the way that we operate. Okay.
So what's
send
your
out an order in writing, and we will give you a copy of that. Okay.
what's your authority for requiring medical documentation?
He mentioned the man's motion being rubber stamped, but actually he hadn't even filed a motion, so this man was on some nonsense.
My authority on requesting it is Title II.
Title II of the ADA, what section? I've been doing this for almost
That's
8
correct.
years.
So I have spoken with our general counsel, and what I find very dispositive is we actually don't have a policy on it, but the state of Vermont has a published policy, and that is where I looked at to guide me through this. And in speaking with my general counsel and looking at the Vermont policy, it appears to be all this is valid case law. And so that's fine if you don't agree with me. I'll send my order, and you're welcome to appeal it to whatever entity you would like, okay?
So you're saying you checked with the state of Vermont, but I still don't have an authority that says you can require or even request.
I am saying that I found their policy helpful, and when I researched the case law and I spoke to my general counsel, I found a lot of cases, including Mazzano versus 2nd Judicial District Court in Nevada, which you were the advocate in, and found that you filed those motions in bad faith and were frivolous. And so in light of that, I'm going to deny this. I will send you a copy of that order, and I'm going to direct the clerk to end this.
This judge was absolutely exposed for his unconstitutional actions. It's yet another reminder that corruption starts from those on the top.
Moving on, here's another instance when a killer cop was owned and humbled in court.
Get your hands up. Get your hands up. That's how he's treating a stranded citizen.
On March 7, 2019, Palm Beach officer Newman Raja learned the final outcome of his trial, following an action he took that led to the most horrific situation imaginable.
I have no idea what's going to happen right now. I do know one thing. There's going to be one side who's going to be brokenhearted. We know that for sure. What I ask everybody, and then I follow it up with I'm ordering, that I am respectful that this is the most pressure-packed moment for most people in their entire lives.
However, 8 days earlier, at the beginning of Raja's trial, the prosecution revealed the real story of why he was being held on the stand.
This all started back in October 2015. You'll hear about Corey Jones. He was living his life. Had a good job at the Delray Beach Housing Authority. Lived with his brother. Loved his family. Loved music. Music was his passion. He was a drummer. He played in bands. He played at family functions and organizations. And that's what he was doing on a Saturday night, October 17th of 2015.
Corey Jones was the victim in this case, and his encounter with Raja became the last moments of his life.
He's out at the middle of the night on the side of the road, stranded. And unlike a lot of folks in this world, he was patient, he was nice. All he wanted was some help to get home. You'll hear how he's giving her information just to get the help that he needs. But see, unfortunately for Corey Jones, his bad luck was turning much worse. Because unknown to him, that defendant was on duty.
Jones had requested non-emergency assistance, and while waiting, it was Officer Raja who responded.
See, he was a police officer at that time in the Palm Beach Gardens Police Department. He was working a detail, a plainclothes detail, where he was supposed to surveil neighborhoods, looking for car burglars. And if he saw anything, he's supposed to call up marked units to come and take care of the issue. And he has supposed to be wearing a tactical vest, like you see on TV, in the news, maybe in person, with big letters that say police across it, so everybody knows who he is.
Raja didn't bother with any of these precautions and instead proceeded to play both judge, jury, and executioner.
And instead of doing what everybody would expect a law enforcement officer to do when they're approaching a stranded, potentially abandoned, but at least a vehicle that's stranded on the side of the road, that defendant did everything wrong. He did everything that you would not expect.
In addition, during his trial, Raja claimed he had announced himself as an officer to Jones, but an audio recording disproved this. His blatant lying only made his case worse.
Now, Corey Jones, he's got an expensive drum kit. He goes into not the nicest parts of Delray Beach for his job. So he did what any lawful American can do. He purchased a firearm, .380 handgun. You can't even try to create the situation that came about. He got that gun 2 days prior to this event. It was still in the box in his glove compartment.
This would serve as a counter to another claim Raja had made, in which he stated his hand was forced due to Jones being armed.
Corey Jones knew what was exactly about to happen, what any reasonable person could expect to happen. You'll show through the evidence today and through the next 2 weeks what Corey Jones was thinking. You'll hear how Corey Jones had that gun out of that box. You'll hear the chimes of the door opening on Corey Jones' SUV because he still had the keys in the ignition. And you'll hear the last words that Corey Jones ever spoke.
There was no justification for Raja's actions other than sick pleasure. As was about to be explained, his actions were beyond disgusting.
Nothing that shows he's an officer. He didn't even pull out the badge, which was in his wallet, in his back pocket, to show to Corey Jones. Much less put on that vest that said police or even had his radio or his gun. There's no verbal identification that you're going to hear on that recording when Corey Jones was talking to that sales representative that had to sit there and witness this horrific event unfold.
Given how severe Raja's actions were made out to be, the reality of the situation fully merited this reaction by the prosecutor.
Yeah, I'm good. Really? That's what he's saying. That's not how an officer talks to a citizen at 3 o'clock in the morning on the side of the road. But that's how he spoke to what he saw with Corey Jones on the side of that road.
Raja had acted more like a street gang thug than a police officer, especially moments before the fatal incident.
As this defendant is saying these words to Corey Jones, and Corey Jones is responding back, he's getting closer and closer to Corey Jones. He's actually chasing Corey Jones away from his vehicle. Corey's already retreating back out of his doorway to the back of his vehicle. A citizen that's stranded on the side of the road, already being chased from his vehicle.
To imagine that Raja didn't stop to think for one moment before he profiled Jones is horrifying considering what happened next.
Get your hands up. Get your fucking hands up. That's what he's screaming. That's how he's treating a stranded citizen. And what does Corey say? He doesn't respond in kind with profanity. He says, hold on, hold on. Once again, get your effing hands up. Drop. 3 shots.
Nothing about this was warranted except for Raja's desire to murder a man in cold blood, something which the jury certainly wasn't letting him get away with.
It got thrust upon him by the person that was supposed to be caring for his safety. He made a decision to shoot first and ask questions later. And one of the few people that should have unquestionably been there to assist him on the side of that road did exactly the opposite. Instead of being Corey Jones' saving grace, he was his angel of death.
Raja represents everything that is wrong with the police department these days, allowing absolute psychopaths to have positions of authority.
But see, this isn't the end of the story. Because now Corey Jones is running for his life. He is running for the cover of darkness. He's thrown down the gun already that he had in his hand that was meant to protect him. 10 seconds between the third and the fourth shot. 10 seconds for a young man running for the cover of darkness. 10 seconds for that defendant right there to finally do what he is supposed to do as a law enforcement officer. But that's not what the evidence is going to show he did.
The evidence would point to how this was in no way some accident or case of incompetence, but something much worse.
It's going to show his recklessness. His absolute reckless behavior from the start is now changing. It's evolving. It's now becoming a premeditated intent to kill. That 10 seconds was the time that he was able to reflect and consider what he was doing with that firearm in his hand.
Officer Raja had planned this from the start, but didn't do a good job of hiding his tracks.
That is no longer just in the heat of the moment. That is now premeditated intent with one specific desire, and that was to kill Corey Jones. He fired those last 3 shots at 1 second intervals each. Control. Boom. 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 Not fast, but controlled.
This was psychopathic level behavior, but unfortunately, this was not the only appalling thing Raja did.
He waits over 30 seconds. 30 seconds to call 911. And why was he calling 911? Because he didn't have his radio on him like he's supposed to. He had to use his own phone to call 911, and he waited 30 seconds to call.
What would a normal person do if they even accidentally hurt someone? They'd help them. But what did Raja do?
Before getting much needed assistance, if he was truly in fear of his life, well, he needs to call a cavalry. 30 seconds. Doing what? Letting Corey Jones die. And how is he going to act?
This might be the only place where the prosecution might have been wrong. It may be likely this wasn't Raja's first time doing this.
With great power comes great responsibility. Law enforcement officers undoubtedly possess great power, great capacity for good, but that necessarily equals great responsibility in the way that those powers are used. They don't have a right to kill anybody without absolute necessity.
Raja may not have killed Jones over any sentimental or anger issues, but by simply not caring, as the prosecution clarified.
And he's going to explain to you, the judge will tell you what culpable negligence means. He's going to say it means a course of conduct showing a reckless disregard for human life or the safety of other persons exposed to its dangerous effects of conscious indifference to the consequences. I couldn't have thought up better words to explain exactly what he did.
Raja had committed the unthinkable, and you won't believe how carefully he planned it from the very start.
He was reckless from the start. He created the situation, and the evidence is going to show you that he could have only expected one result, the death of Corey Jones. But see, he doesn't get a free pass under the law for those last 3 shots. The last 3 shots that he waited 10 seconds to deliver, and took 1 second intervals in between each one. The law doesn't give him a free pass for those shots.
But even more horrific than this was the exact details of where the bullets hit Jones.
Corey was shot through the heart. He actually had his heart destroyed by that bullet, which is horrifically symbolic, saying that this young man lost his life because he lost his heart. You're going to hear a medical examiner come up here, forensic pathologist, and explain to you all the injuries that Corey Jones sustained. He was shot in the back of the arm, the back of this arm, on the right side of the upper arm, and went through right out. He was shot in the right side of his chest, and that bullet ripped through his body, destroyed his aorta, and lodged into his left shoulder.
Given the terrifying result of Raja's actions, and given how evil he had been proven to be, his version of events were still disgusting to hear.
He says, Corey Jones jumps out of the vehicle immediately, says, I'm okay. He says, police. And what did Corey do? According to him, during his statement, Corey jumps back and points the gun at him. And now he's afraid for his life. That's what he says in his statement. That's not what happened. That's not what you hear in the AT&T recorded call from the roadside assistance folks.
It seems although Raja may have been a criminal, he certainly wasn't a smart one, as the prosecution ripped into him one final time.
We're confident that you're going to agree on the one verdict for which all the evidence will support. And that's a verdict finding him guilty as charged of being a reckless killer and for trying to murder Corey Jones. I'm going to ask you to hold him responsible for how he misused that power.
And the worst part is, Raja expressed no remorse, and even his family tried to defend his actions. But the judge saw it differently.
We, the jury, find as follows. As to count one, we find a defendant guilty of manslaughter while armed with a firearm as charged in the information. As to count two, we found a defendant guilty of attempted first-degree murder as charged in the information. If you find a defendant guilty of attempted first-degree murder, you must next answer the following questions. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant actually possessed a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant actually discharged a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, in discharging the firearm, actually caused great bodily harm or death to Corey L. Jones? Yes.
Alas, something finally good came out of this case as Raja was forced to face his reckoning. Palm Beach County Judge Joseph Marks imposed a 25-year sentence on both counts Raja was convicted of, ruling the fired police officer will serve the sentences concurrently.
Well, that brings us to the end of this video. Today we saw cases where corrupt and idiot cops were held accountable in court and humbled by judges. Thanks for watching. Please support the channel by subscribing and leaving a like. Also, if you enjoyed this video, check out the next video here.
Actually, we can trespass you from here. They can. Yes, I can. Give it a try then. All right, let's be done with that.